marketers are full of crap. I actually wanted to use the S word, but algorithms. Do you ever feel like marketers are full of crap? Let's talk about that today. I am going to try to put to rest a lot of speculation around what content does well on Facebook, how to get the most views. Should you use a link? Should you not? Videos, pictures, blah, 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 blah. Well, Facebook released data. They released the Q1 report, and I will show you a sneak preview of it with some highlights. And let me know what you think in the comments. Are we full of crap, or is Facebook full of crap? I'm also gonna show you a sneak preview of an announcement that LinkedIn made about upcoming features. There's a business manager coming to LinkedIn, so I will show you some screenshots from that's going to be released in the next couple months. And I want to talk about the power of why when it comes to developing content marketing, because it's a topic that that we're covering at the Professional Certificate in Digital Marketing at Kellogg during these weeks. And I've gotten some questions from students, and I've noticed some interesting trends there. And so it gave me some ideas, and it made me really sit and think about what my approach is, and if you want to call it my philosophy. But let's start by talking about how us marketers, because I'm one of those, I've been doing this for almost 20 years, and how we love to speculate. So we love to present data because data is very attractive. So we find some obscure studies around the web that were done, whether it was polling less than 1,000 people, or it's missing the premise or the context of the study, but we pick up that data and we run with it. And then that data perpetuates itself, and before you know it, everybody's using numbers that we don't know where they come from, how legit that study was. We just keep using them. And when it comes to what content does best, where, when, and at what time, there's a lot of speculation, and a lot of people think that they have the answers. Just this week, I was talking to somebody who said that their marketing strategist told them that there's specific times of day where you should post on Instagram. And I said, no, that's a myth. Right? These networks are algorithmic. The newsfeed is algorithmic. It takes into consideration how old or how fresh content is, but there's a lot of other elements that play a part in how content is displayed. The timeline is not chronological, although Instagram did introduce a feature for you to set it back to chronological order, but most people don't even know it's there. But it is, and I talked about it in a previous video. So I wouldn't necessarily say that there is a specific time of day when you should post to social media. There's also speculation about whether on Facebook, whether having a post with a link, or a link that goes to YouTube may not do as well. A post with a link that goes to YouTube may not do as well, or that posts with links altogether don't do as well. Well, we don't have to wonder about it anymore, or listen to all those marketers who think that they have the answer because they looked at an obscure survey. Facebook published their Q1 report. So in a push, in this public push for more transparency, and in a push for Facebook to pretend like they are more transparent, they've been publishing these reports that show us what content is being viewed on Facebook. So the Q1 report was published this week, and it's quite revealing. So let's take a look at it. We're going to start with some charts. So according to report, here are the sources of content. So the types of content that get the most views on Facebook. 49% come from friends and people you follow, 20.5% from groups you joined, and a very small percentage, only 15.7%, is content from pages. So we used to say, again, I have no idea where this data came from, but we used to say that only 1 to 2% of page posts are viewed by page followers. And actually, we got that data by looking at post reach, and we did the math. We saw that only this many, the post had only this much reach. We had X number of followers, and we came up with a percentage. Well, what Facebook is telling us that from a viewer's perspective, only about in a viewer's feed, so in a user's feed, only about 15.70% of that feed, of that visible feed for any user, is going to be from pages they follow. So the majority of what people see on Facebook is people and friends, groups, very small percentage from pages. Now, when it comes to the type of content, most of the content views come from posts without links. So most of viewed content is posts without links. 83.8% of the viewed content is posts without links. It's a big share. Now, we can't say whether or not it's so because most of the content shared is without links, or whether or not because people consume that content more, Facebook favors, the algorithm favors that content. We still don't know that. However, we do get more indications about what content, what people watch on Facebook, because the report also shows us that these two were the most watched, most viewed pieces of content in Q1. And in fact, the study shows us that if we look at the top 10 pieces of content that got most views in Q1, 16 of them are videos. 4 of them are images with text over video. None of them are text-only posts. All of the videos are tall videos, and they're very short, and they are very much in the Reels and TikTok style. So this comes straight from Facebook. I'm not making this up. So what do you do then if you're a brand? Well, the conclusion here is that you want your content to be shared by individuals, not your page, and be short videos that are entertaining. Because apparently that's what the report discovered, that most of the top videos are entertaining or funny. And the URL, the domain that is most viewed on Facebook is YouTube. So this whole idea that if you share YouTube links to Facebook, your content's not going to be as visible seems to have been debunked, because the largest shares of URLs that appear on YouTube, on Facebook, are from YouTube. Now, I want to talk a little bit about the aspect of misinformation. In Q1, over 95 million views went to a website, the same domain, that published multiple links that Facebook tagged as, to quote, "The people from this domain use spam tactics to mislead people and drive them to their website. Content with links to this domain can no longer be created on Facebook." But that was a little too late, because the top two most viewed links on Facebook in Q1 were from this domain. And it collected over 95 million views before Facebook blocked that content. Now, this domain, and I will not name it, is not a popular website. This content was designed to mislead people and get them as clickbait, to get them to go to that website. But it dominated the top 20. And that is really, really scary. And as users of Facebook, we really need to be careful about what we view, what we click on, and what we share. We got to take a pause and think, is this real legitimate information, or are these people trying to scam us? Because ultimately, that's what a lot of this misinformation is doing, is trying to take advantage of you. And way too many people fall into that trap. When I look at these numbers, I'm just my mind is blown. My mind is blown. Also, if you look at the stats in the newsletter that I publish after this, I will publish a link to the report. And if you don't want to read the report, I'm also going to list some highlights. But you're going to be able to see more about the top content, the styles of content. But the conclusion is Create tall videos that are short and that are entertaining or emo or useful. I also found it interesting that some of the top domains were cooking websites and also local travel websites, which tells us that people are still looking for local travel solutions. And you will find more details about that in the newsletter I'll publish after this, with also links to where I got my sources, because the citations are really important. All right. LinkedIn has announced Business Manager. It's going to come within, I think they said within the next couple of months. And this Business Manager is kind of like the Facebook Business Manager, where you can create this account under which you can connect your pages, your ads accounts, your audiences. You can have agency partners in there that would be a separate entity from your company, admins, and all of that. So cool stuff. May make things a little bit more complicated for some, may make things a lot easier for others. This is a little bit of a sneak preview. Here you can see what this will look like, just like Facebook Business Manager. On the left-hand side, you're going to have your tools for people, ad accounts, pages, and so on. But one of the things that I'm most excited about as part of this announcement, and this I don't think will happen at the same time as the Business Manager accounts become available, but again, later in this year, LinkedIn is going to introduce revenue attribution reporting. And this is something that brands want. I mean, everybody's trying to track the results of their marketing. This feature would allow you to connect your CRM. So tie in your sales efforts, your sales efforts to the ads that you're going to run, and it'll allow you to try and calculate, or will give you data to see what your return ad spend will be, what your ROI could be based on your ads. It does require that you connect your CRM. And I know that a lot of folks still haven't made that link in their sales process between the marketing, advertising that happens, and the sales process. One of the things the LinkedIn people said when they presented this in a webinar earlier this week, they said this is your time to start thinking about how all of that happens, to start cleaning up your accounts, to start really looking at who's an admin on your accounts, and prepare for this change. And they said you don't have to move to Business Manager, but it's going to be there and it's going to be available to you. So this is also a good time to look at the links between your sales and marketing, and do you have all the connections in place? When this new revenue tracking tool becomes available with LinkedIn, do you have the systems in place so that you can take advantage of it? So we covered LinkedIn, the LinkedIn news, Facebook news. Now let's talk about the power of why. So I'm a program leader at the Professional Certificate in Digital Marketing from Kellogg. And this time of the program, we're talking about content marketing. And we're doing a lot of exercises to align people's needs with our content marketing strategies. And just this week or last week, students were given a scenario where they were given the option to take a few need categories, one of them being convenience, and develop marketing strategy for a number of potential brands and target audiences. So some of my students have chosen Uber, and the target audience would be business travelers. And the need that they chose was convenience. And those who know me, I am a fan of the question why. So when I see somebody make these choices, and I'm just using this as an example, I see brands doing this all the time, coming in with assumptions and saying, well, we made this product because this is what people want. Well, when we talk about convenience, as an example, I ask myself, why? Why did you choose that? Why do you think that that is the pressing need? And what is behind that convenience label? To tell you the truth, I think that convenience is a convenient label and it's lazy. We do a lot of things in marketing because we're lazy. Now, of course, we are not going to acknowledge that that's why it's happening. We may say that this is too costly, it's taking too much time. A lot of times we just don't want to do the hard work, and really trying to understand what motivates people, really trying to get to the core of their needs is hard work, and it entails asking why a lot. I want to show you an example from before I get into the examples, talk about convenience some more. What exactly is convenience? I mean, it's such a broad term. What convenience is to me may not be convenience to you. And so, in that Uber example, Uber is convenient to me when I go to the airport because I'm at home and I don't have to necessarily wait for it. I can time it a little bit better. When I arrive from a trip, Uber is not convenient for me. Oftentimes, taxi is more convenient, and these days, even more cost effective. So, first, we're making this assumption that business travelers find Uber convenient, and we have to ask ourselves, why do we think that? So, this methodology of asking why 5 questions also can be a good check for us to see if the assumptions we've made about our customers' needs, if they pass the 5 why check, or if there's something else there, something behind that. We can also use the 5 whys to actually get deeper and identify the core needs of our audiences. So, for example, if you say convenience, why is that solution more convenient to me? For me, convenience when I get back from a trip is to get home as fast as possible. Why? Well, because I'm usually tired and I'm usually uncomfortable because I've been sitting on a plane. So, so I want to get home faster to become comfortable. So my ultimate need is comfort. It's not necessarily speed or convenience, whatever the heck that may mean. So the marketing for this target audience, when it comes to getting a ride home, is not necessarily blanket convenience. It's getting to make myself comfortable, getting to a place as fast as possible so I can become comfortable because I am uncomfortable. And when I'm comfortable, I also get cranky, and it's not good for my health. So we go really deep in this, that getting me where I want fast enough is good for my health. But we don't have to go that deep. But I want to show you an example from Apple. Apple's, I want to encourage you to go to Apple's accessibility page. If you go to Apple's accessibility page, it's a brilliant example of marketing. So what they identify there, the message there is create your own. And they say built-in features designed for you to make something wonderful. And what's the solution there? Make it bold, make it big, make it clear, make it speak, make it listen, make it simple. Why do people want accessibility? To make something wonderful. Now, of course, later in the page, you can read about how you can read the terms cognitive features, vision features, hearing features, mobility features, etc. That you see that in the details. But they went a step deeper than that. They went beyond the fact that these tools, these solutions, deliver accessibility. These tools, they've designed these tools to meet the need to make something wonderful. So if you go to the accessibility page, you will see this. Now, here's an example, practical example of how you can use the 5 whys to actually troubleshoot your marketing. So let's say that your executives come to you and said, it looks like we're spending more on advertising, but the results are declining. It's the fault of marketing. Marketing people don't know what they're doing, or that ad campaign sucks, or social media doesn't work. If you're marketing, how many times have you heard this? We're told this directly or indirectly often. Well, the 5 whys allows us to dig deeper. Why do we not have an increase? High churn, existing customers are not reordering. Why are they not reordering? The designs were not, the customers are not happy with the quality of the product. Oh wait, now we're stepping outside of marketing. Let's not rock the boat and upset the product people or the customer service people. So oftentimes marketers, we stop here at this why. But why aren't people happy with the product quality? Well, the designs were not effectively implemented. And why? Well, the design and build teams were not collaborating. And why were they not collaborating? Well, because they're running into a toxic, competitive work environment. So fundamentally, at the end of the day, we have two possible solutions to the problem. We can fix a marketing campaign. We can keep doing what we're doing and not get results, or we can fix systems and leadership. Now, I'm not saying that every marketing problem is a leadership issue, but if we face a marketing problem, we need to ask 5 whys and really get to the source of it. We cannot jump to conclusions and say, oh, it was social media or it was that particular campaign. Why is this happening? And why and why and why? And maybe we can end up with marketing like Apple's, where we can design things for people to make something beautiful. All right, that's what I had for today. If you joined late, or if you want a summary of what I talked about, data from Facebook, I showed you some data from Facebook that tells us what people view in their feeds and thus what type of marketing or content you should produce. We looked at LinkedIn's new upcoming business manager features. I will put a lot of this into the newsletter that I publish after this. In that newsletter, I'm also going to include some stuff about Reddit, because every week we're going to look at new social media platform. In light of the unfortunate, horrible mass shooting that happened this past week, a lot about the shooter was disclosed, and how he was mostly getting his news from 4chan and Reddit. So in the newsletter, I would include some information about Reddit if you are curious about it. He also streamed this event on Twitch. And so next week, we are going to look at Twitch as a marketing platform. If you have any questions or comments, I want to hear your thoughts. Please drop them in the comments below. And look out for the newsletter, which I publish on LinkedIn. It's called Decoding the Algorithm. And you can also find the past editions there. Or you can ask me and I will send you a link. And I will see you back here next